Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a very beautiful and emotional story for you. This story is about family. This story is about a promise. And this story has a very unexpected and beautiful ending. The English is simple and easy. Just listen carefully and enjoy. Let's begin. Nora is a 24-year-old woman. She lives with her grandmother, Elsie, in a small cottage by the countryside. Nora's parents passed away when she was very young. Her grandmother raised her, alone, with love, with strength. Elsie is 78 years old now. Her health has been getting weaker every year. But her spirit has never dimmed. Every evening, Elsie sits by the window. She tells Nora stories about her youth. Stories about a small village in the mountains. A village called Rosewood, far away. The village where Elsie was born. Elsie left that village 60 years ago. She never went back. One evening, Elsie's voice is weaker than usual. She holds Nora's hand gently. She says, "Nora, my dear, there is one thing I have wanted my whole life. One wish I never got to fulfill." Nora leans closer. "What is it, Grandma?" Elsie's eyes fill with tears. She says, "I want to see Rosewood one more time. Before I go, I want to see the mountains, the old church, the river where I used to play as a child." Nora's heart aches. She says, "Grandma, we will go together. I promise." Elsie smiles weakly. She squeezes Nora's hand. "Thank you, my dear." 3 days later, Elsie passes away peacefully in her sleep. Nora is devastated. The only family she had, gone. At the funeral, Nora holds her grandmother's old photograph. A young woman standing in front of mountains, smiling brightly. Nora makes a decision that day. She whispers to the photograph, "I could not take you there while you were alive, Grandma. But I will go for you. I will see Rosewood. For both of us." A month later, Nora packs a small bag. She takes a bus, then a train, then another bus. Rosewood is far away, deep in the mountains. A place barely anyone visits anymore. The journey takes almost 2 full days. Nora feels nervous and sad, but also strangely peaceful. She feels close to her grandmother during this journey, like Elsie is traveling with her, in spirit. Finally, the bus stops at a small mountain village. Nora steps off. The air is crisp and cold. Mountains surround the village on all sides. An old stone church stands in the distance. A small river flows nearby, sparkling in the sunlight. Nora recognizes it immediately. This is exactly how her grandmother described it. Tears fill her eyes. She whispers, "We made it, Grandma." Nora walks through the quiet village streets. Old wooden houses, narrow cobblestone paths, elderly villagers sitting outside their homes, watching her curiously. She stops at the old church. She walks inside slowly. The church is empty, quiet, peaceful. Sunlight streams through colorful glass windows. Nora sits down on an old wooden bench. She closes her eyes. She can almost hear her grandmother's voice describing this exact place. After some time, Nora walks outside. She notices a man sitting near the river, sketching something in a notebook. He looks up as she approaches. He has kind eyes and a gentle smile. He says, "You're not from around here, are you?" Nora smiles softly. No, I'm just visiting. My grandmother grew up here. Rosewood. The man's eyes widen with interest. Really? What was her name? Nora says. Elsie. Elsie Turner. The man's expression changes completely. He stands up slowly. He says, Elsie Turner? My grandfather used to talk about her all the time. Nora is shocked. Your grandfather knew my grandmother. The man nods. Yes. My name is Daniel. My grandfather, Thomas, grew up here too. He always told stories about a girl named Elsie. He said she was his best friend growing up. He said she left the village when she was 18. He never forgot about her. Nora feels tears forming again. My grandmother talked about Rosewood every single day of her life. But she never mentioned a Thomas. Daniel smiles gently. Maybe she wanted to keep some memories just for herself. Daniel invites Nora to meet his grandfather, Thomas, who still lives nearby. They walk together to a small house at the edge of the village. Thomas is sitting outside, an elderly man with silver hair and warm eyes. When Daniel introduces Nora as Elsie's granddaughter, Thomas' eyes light up immediately. He stands up slowly, overwhelmed with emotion. He says, Elsie's granddaughter. I never thought I would meet family of hers. Thomas invites Nora to sit with him. He tells her stories about her grandmother's childhood. Stories Nora has never heard before. He says, Your grandmother was the bravest girl I ever knew. She always dreamed of seeing the world beyond these mountains. I always knew she would leave one day. I just never knew if she would come back. Nora listens, captivated. She says, She talked about this village every single day. She never stopped loving it here. Thomas smiles, his eyes glistening with tears. She never forgot us either then. Nora spends 3 more days in Rosewood. She explores every place her grandmother described. The old bridge where Elsie used to fish. The hill where she watched sunsets. The bakery where she bought her first pastry. Every place feels like a piece of her grandmother's soul. On her last evening in Rosewood, Nora sits with Thomas by the river. The sunset paints the sky in beautiful orange and pink colors. Thomas says quietly, Your grandmother would be so proud of you, coming all this way for her. Nora smiles through her tears. I promised her I would bring her back here. I couldn't keep that promise in the way I wanted to. But I think, in some way, I did keep it. Thomas nods gently. You brought her spirit back home, Nora. That is more than enough. Before leaving the next morning, Nora takes a small stone from the river bank. A simple, smooth grey stone. She whispers, This will remind me of you, Grandma, and of the home you loved so much. Back home, months later, Nora keeps that stone on her windowsill. Every evening, she looks at it. She remembers Rosewood, the mountains, the old church, the kind faces of Thomas and Daniel. She stays in touch with Daniel regularly now. They write letters to each other, sharing stories, sharing memories. One evening, Daniel writes to her, Rosewood misses you already, Nora. Perhaps you should visit again soon. Perhaps you could even stay longer next time. Nora smiles as she reads his words. She looks at her grandmother's old photograph on her desk. The young woman standing proudly in front of the mountains, smiling brightly. Nora whispers, I found your home, Grandma. And somehow, I think I found a piece of my own future there too. And that is the end of today's story. Nora made a promise to her grandmother. And even though her grandmother could not see Rosewood again herself, Nora carried her spirit there instead. Sometimes, the promises we make to the people we love lead us to places we never expected. And sometimes, in fulfilling someone else's dream, we discover a new dream of our own. I hope this story touched your heart today. I hope it reminded you love does not end, it simply finds new ways to live on. If this story moved you, please like this video. It really helps this channel grow. And if you are not subscribed yet, please subscribe right now. Every week we bring you a new beautiful English story. Simple English. Real emotions. Real life. Share this video with someone who reminds you of home. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next story. Goodbye everyone.